Problem number 27 states, in the 4x4 table, some cells must be painted black. The numbers next to and below the table show how many cells in that row or column must be black. And how many ways can this table be painted? So let's start off here with our 4x4 table. We can immediately notice that there will be nothing in the second row or the second column because the numbers adjacent to those rows and columns are 0. In order to solve this problem, let's go column by column, making assumptions until we've made all the assumptions we can, and then count up all of the possibilities. So for example, for the first column, let's assume that it's going to be the top 2 squares that are going to be shaded. So now let's go on to the third column. There are 3 ways that we could shade this next column. This is how they would look. All of these would be valid. From here, there's only one way to finish off each of these scenarios, and that would be like this. So if we initially assume the top 2 available squares in the first column are shaded, then we have 3 ways to shade the table. Next, let's assume the topmost and bottommost squares are shaded in the first column. There's only one possible move for the next column since the bottom row can only have one shaded square. So let's shade the top 2. There's only one move from here in the last column, and that is this one. So in total, there's only one way to shade the table when we assume the top and bottom square is shaded for the first column. Now lastly, let's assume the bottom 2 are shaded. There's only one possible move for the next column since the bottom row can only have one shaded square. And last, the top square needs to be shaded in the first column because that is the only row missing a number. So there's only one way to shade the table if the bottom 2 squares are shaded in the first column. So in total, there are 5 ways to shade this table. 3 if the top 2 are shaded, 1 if the bottom 2 are shaded, and another one if the top and bottom is shaded in the first column. So in total, that's 5 different ways to shade the table. So the question asked us, in how many ways can this table be painted? The answer is 5. Letter D.